Hi, Judith.
Hi, Melissa.
Thanks for being with me today and telling us a little bit more about your new upcoming class that's taking place this Sunday, July 28th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And it's Quincunx's Yods and Aversions, Astrological Conundrums of Mind, Body, Life. What what an intimidating title that is for someone who might just be learning what a quincunx is. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that class and why it's actually more approachable than you might think?
Yes, I shouldn't have named it that title. I should have just called it Quincunxes Solving Problems. So quincunxes are a 150 or 210-degree aspect. I mean, two planets that are 5 signs apart. That's where we get the word quin. It means 5. And they're just as important as squares and oppositions and conjunctions. They're just a little harder to see. And they actually mean two planets that are disconnected, not in aspect. Sometimes they were called an inconjunct or no aspect. And the ancient Greeks thought the two planets were estranged from each other, alienated. And in Renaissance times, they were considered disassociated from each other. But any two signs or any two planets that are disassociated from each other, that's a really big deal. And these are the quintessential health aspect.
What's a disassociated planet? Can you give us an example of a planet that's disassociated with another?
Yeah, if, say, your moon, your feeling nature, is in an exact quincunx to Mercury, your mind, it means they cannot function easily at the same time. So
And just to define what quincunx is, we should have defined that in the very beginning. What is a quincunx?
it's a degree, it's two signs that are, well, signs can be in quincunx or aversion, and so can planets, but it's always takes place in degrees in the zodiac, 150 degrees or 210. That is the quincunx. Now, there's other ones that are 30 degrees, but those are in conjuncts. We won't go there right now. And so any two signs that are 5 signs apart, like Aries is from Virgo, or Taurus is from Libra, or Gemini is from Scorpio, those signs are disassociated. They are 5 signs apart. Quincunx, or it's a disharmonious angle. It would make a unpleasant sounding chord on a piano.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So if someone has their Mercury, let's say, in a sign like Aquarius,
Mhm.
and their moon is in another sign that is, let's say, would it be Virgo? That would be Queen.
Yeah, that would be a quincunx to Aquarius. So you would have almost like two parts of your personality that do not operate at the same time. So it's a puzzle. So you're either all emotional with no mind or you're all mental with no feeling. I'm exaggerating. And the signs are very much part of this, such as if you have an Aries Virgo quincunx. Part of you wants to, rush off to the sports tournament and you're always confounded by paperwork or having to diaper the baby. There's always something Virgo getting in the way of it that is incongruous. And you see a lot of interesting effects, but you do have a lot of psychological issues and health issues, and also things happening completely out of left field by transit with these two. They're very important.
So when someone's looking at a birth chart, they're not always going to see an exact quincunx, but they may often see planets that are in aversion or
Mhm.
houses that are in aversion. And even if you don't have a planet, let's say in that house, and they're considered in aversion to each other, why is that important when you're doing a natal chart reading or when you're just looking at a birth chart?
You're just looking at a birth chart. We're taught to think of people as one thing. Oh, he's nice. Oh, he's really he's really not nice, but people are made out of parts. And so you have the wonderful minister who's always sneaking off to the gambling hall. And you have the really, really, you know, sweet, wonderful mother who's just an absolute tyrant of a boss at work. And, these strange, like who you wouldn't even know who they were. These are the quincunxes. We are all multiple personalities in one person. But when you have signs, planets in aversion, especially personal planets, uh, this will be more obvious. Some people are much more complex than others.
Got it. And so you mentioned that this class came out of student demand asking about a class like this. What has been some of the most ridiculous interpretations of quincunxes or versions that you've seen in your astrological career?
What I've seen is that most people don't understand how they work, so they make stuff up. They seem to think, oh, we're going to work like a conjunction or a trine. I'll just put these two planets together and say they're in aspect. Well, they're actually not in aspect. They're in aversion. They're not looking, they're not working with each other at all. So it's an aspect of disconnection between two planets. So it is very, very it takes a little more to interpret them. And that's what
And
I'm going to do.
and it's different than a square or an opposition because they are making aspects to each other even though they're not positive. But it's actually the opposite of it's not necessarily always great, but is also not making an aspect to it.
Yes, let's take an example. Say Mars and Mercury are in opposition in a chart. Well, that means when you're say you're doing your paperwork, you're doing something mental, you always have to partner with Mars. Like you're dealing with a partner who, is impatient. You're very aware of the opposition and you're working on balancing these energies. But if it's a quincunx, you'll be doing your paperwork and all of a sudden something on the stove catches on fire. Something you did not expect at all happens. It's always out of left field. Or every time, or say it can mean you get very, very, very energetic and passionate. And when you're in that state, can't be diplomatic, can't be intelligent at all. You just go do crazy things because you aren't thinking. No Mercury with the Mars. It's not a balance, it's a complete disconnection. So you're all Mars, no Mercury. Or another time of day, you flip over to being all very, very mental and completely dispassionate, uh, not wanting exercise. And every one of these will be very different in each person's chart. They're very individual.
Is amazing. I think anyone who practices natal astrology or even just regular horary astrology or any other type of astrology, I'm sure that there's applications for this for understanding this in every single field. Now, is this only specific to whole signs astrology, or can this be applied to like Placidus or any other house system that someone's working with if they don't necessarily work with whole signs astrology?
Oh, quincunxes, yods, aversions happen regardless of what house system you're using. The only difference is if you were using whole sign houses, they are a whole lot easier to see because they're automatic. Um, you just have to train yourself to see the 150 and 210 aspect. It's just as easy to see as a square or an opposition, just as easy to see. It's just most classes don't teach it. All you have to do is find the two signs that are 5 degrees apart, 5 signs apart. But also, any two signs that are in quincunx or aversion have nothing in common by element or by mode. They will not both be in an air sign. They will not both be in a cardinal or mutable sign. Nothing in common, such as Aquarius is fixed air, Virgo is mutable earth. Nothing in common. Cancer is cardinal water, and let's see, Cancers, one of them would be Aquarius. Aquarius is fixed air again. So you see, that's another way to understand them. But when you have two parts of your personality or your body not able to work at the same time together, this causes kind of a conundrum in the life, something to solve. But it's most useful with health because these are the traditional health aspect.
That's great. Now, the last question I have for you is a question that might be on a lot of people's minds. Most people know what being an aversion is. A lot of people know what a quincunx is, but not a lot of people know what a yod is. And so, would you just briefly explain to us what that is, just so that we can get an understanding of it?
Yes, a yod, pronounced in Hebrew more like yod, and in Yiddish like yud. It is not yod, folks. Um, it means, well, it's also called, doesn't mean, it means an open hand, a hand, but in Hebrew, but it was interpreted, it was also called the finger of God or a finger of fate. And it means one planet that has two quincunxes to it, one from 150 degrees, one from 210. So it's right in the middle of two quincunxes. And this planet typically will show some health issues related to the planet or the sign, but it also can indicate a great deal more. And there are ways to sublimate or use the energy. I've seen that happen. It's often a place of considerable sacrifice or good deeds. You can have a mantle at that place given you.
Wow. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you for telling us a little bit more about this class. And I know that this is going to be one of the foundational courses at the Academy because it is so important to learn how to interpret these angles, both for the natal chart and especially for the health aspects. Is there anything you would like to leave our audience with before we wrap up, I guess, this Q&A on your upcoming class?
Yes, I would. One reason I'm giving this class and one reason why my students have asked for it is that there's very, very little in literature of deep substance on yods, on quincunxes, on signs in aversion. There is, but it hasn't been a popular topic for one reason. They take some puzzle figuring out. You have to learn to figure out a puzzle. They represent a puzzle in the chart. They do. So this will be a very, very comprehensive. Let's learn how to figure out these puzzles. And then you can really help your clients understand these disjointed, disconnected parts of their own personality. You can also be aware of potential health weaknesses in the body or of things out of left field coming by transit so people are prepared. Or it also will explain to you a lot of things that you don't see. Some people look at a chart, I can't figure out why he's poor when he should be wealthy. And you'll see it in a quincunx that you just haven't even, you just completely missed. And they are extremely important non-aspects.
Thank you, Judith. No, very well said. I appreciate your time here with us today, and I'm very much looking forward to this class on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm looking forward to. I can't wait. See you then.